Today's show is all about the Good Mental Health Festival, an exploration of well-being designed to improve your mood, the way people think and feel about mental health, all socially distanced, of course, and in the best possible taste. With me now are organisers of the fest, Dennis Relojo-Howell and Tania Diggory. Have I got that correct? Have I said it right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you have. Thank you.
Welcome to you both. Okay, can you please describe who you are and what you do?
So thank you so much for having me on the show. Very much appreciate it. So my name's Tania Diggory. I'm the founder and director of an organisation called Karma. We're a training organisation that empowers entrepreneurs, freelancers and business teams to nurture good mental health and well-being. And we do this through workplace training courses, online and offline, digital membership and events. So we're really excited to collaborate with Dennis and his organisation DRH on this festival, which is called Good Mental Health. And the real premise behind this festival is to help people improve the way that they think and feel about mental health. So we're particularly interested in supporting professionals, people who want to find more joy in their life, and approaching it from the perspective of positive mental health. So whether it's through, your work engagements, through the workplace, whether it's through wanting to build more resilience, whether it's around men's mental health in the creative industries, or around writing and digital storytelling. These are the 5 key subject areas that we'll be exploring at the festival to help people empower themselves to nurture their mental health and well-being so they can thrive in their work and all aspects of their lives.
Really good. Comprehensive too. Nice to have you on. Dennis, are you there?
Yes, this is Dennis Relojo-Howell. It's really a pleasure to share to your listeners.
Yeah, okay, you're just fading a little bit. Can you get closer to the mic, Dennis?
Yeah, I
that's better.
To the mic now.
That's better.
Okay, so basically I always describe myself as a blogger. I run a mental health blog. It's called DRH, and I've been running that since 2014. And on top of that, I'm also organizing mental health events, conferences. And then this year, I decided to work with another mental health organization, which is Karma, which is owned by Tania Diggory. And that's what I do. And my background has always been in psychology. I went to uni, I did psychology. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what I do. I
see. So how long have you two been working together on this festival?
I've known Tania for a little over a year. So we've been working for this mental health festival for over a year. But the mental health environment is quite small, so I've already know the work that she does, so that's why I decided to approach her and see if we can work together and host an event.
So this is actually the inaugural festival. So Dennis and I set this up. We've been planning it for quite a few months, from sort of probably about late last year we started organising it, and we wanted to run it as a live event this year, but then obviously with everything that's happened, it's not really been possible. So we launched it anyway, and we're doing it as a virtual event this year, but we're hoping that this means we'll be able to reach far more people, potentially, and with the potential for more and more people to join, than perhaps there would have been had it been a live event. So we're really excited about it.
Yes, this is our inaugural event, and we plan to have more events in the future. We just want to find out how, the audience will like this event and see how we can improve it later on. But we're really excited because we've been supported by a number of incredible speakers. We have Bruce Daisley, who is one of who used to work for Twitter. He's ex-vice president of Twitter Europe. We also have a stand-up comedian. We also have a number of big names in the creative industry. So I'm really looking forward to this event. A lot of effort has been put into this event in terms of planning, in terms of creating the web page, and in terms of promoting it through social media. So I'm confident that the participants will really enjoy this event.
So Dennis and I have actually been collaborating through our organisations for a couple of years now. So Dennis runs an award-winning mental health blogging platform, and so we've written for Dennis, he's featured our work, he's written for us, so we've done a lot of exchange and partnership work up to this point. And then Dennis had the idea of us collaborating on an event last year, and then we started brainstorming ideas for, what can we do that sort of is a bit of a disruptor, it gets people thinking about mental health in a different way, in a more positive way, day as well, because mental health fluctuates. It's not just, if there's a problem or an issue and when you need support with your mental health, but what does it mean to build mental resilience, to thrive with your mental health, or, to build a positive state of mental health. So we were really interested in exploring the whole wide range of perspectives around mental health from, a broad perspective. So that's where we started coming up with the idea of Good Mental.
Fantastic. So how's the first ever digital global GMH festival going for you so far?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're so excited for Solar Radio to be a partner of the event too.
Yeah, fab. And it's great to be involved as well. Is it coming along as expected, or have there been any unexpected hitches, or is it running smoothly?
Well, I think the main unexpected glitch was just realising that we couldn't run it as a live event for very, valid reasons with the pandemic and everything. So, health and safety comes first. But, other than that, actually, we've received a really large interest in the event. There's clearly an appetite for a lot of people at the moment to want to absorb and take in a lot of information that, supports their mental health that we're providing. We have a lot of support from our partners, from other collaborators who are working with. We've got a whole range of really incredible speakers on the day who will be joining us, from Bruce Daisley to JP Cooper to Mel Phillips. We have, people in the creative industries. We have Mark, who's doing a great talk on resilience, and who's doing a wonderful talk on men's mental health. So many names to mention, and that's just a few to get started. But we have a lot of support, and we have a lot of followings as well. So we're hoping it'll be a really well-attended event and that can, really positively impact the lives of so many people, especially after such a difficult year for so many.
Yeah, super. Traumatic events from natural disasters to war can damage people's mental health. The COVID-19 pandemic is no different. It has brought the fear of contagion and of loved ones falling sick. It has created huge uncertainty about every aspect of life. And with a fifth of the world under lockdown, protracted isolation is also bringing loneliness, anxiety, and depression. It's not just the physical manifestations of coronavirus, but the mental side effects. And people are becoming more. The show must go online. Good Mental Health Fest preview. Okay, so it's shaping up well. It's featuring leaders in the fields of mental health, business development, psychology, and creative industries.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are 5 themes in this event. There's workplace, there's resilience, there's the creative industry, there's men's mental health, and there's digital storytelling. The digital storytelling part of it, I will be involved on that. I will deliver a workshop with Esma Wayeb, who's also a blogger. So we will kind of introduce the participants about what blogging is and how we can benefit from blogging. And also we will introduce the participants about the technical aspects of blogging.
Because I weren't sure, in fact, what the digital storytelling would entail, because I may have gotten the wrong end of the stick there. I was just wondering what you meant by digital storytelling. I thought you meant maybe the modern world we're living in of technology and stuff. Like this passage that says, I tend the mobile like an injured bird, Carol Ann Duffy wrote in a poem about the ritual of digital romance. I thought that's what you meant by digital storytelling. Of course, that line's a decade old, but it's prescient because this is what we all do today. It's not just in anticipation of text, but we watch videos on the old TikTok and the Zoom, play games on Zoom, and we double tap the gram. I thought that's what you meant by digital storytelling. The modern environment. Does it take that in as well?
Yes, exactly. Now, I just want to touch upon what you said. You're not familiar about what blogging is and what digital storytelling is. You're actually not alone in that respect. Because you know what, kid? When I tell people what I do, I tell them that I'm a blogger. I would inevitably explain what a blog is. So a lot of people always ask me that.
You're saying you make it simple for them.
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, a blog is a personal website. You put anything on it. It could be something about, gardening, or something about drawing, or something about music. In my case, I chose to blog about mental health. And blogging exists in many forms. Through YouTube, it could be through Instagram, or it could be through a website. And I chose to do it through YouTube and through a website. So that's my chosen medium of blogging.
Understood.
Yeah, we chose to have a catchy name, digital storytelling. And the reason why we said digital is because it's online, and storytelling because essentially blog is a form of online stories. You share something, a part of your life.
Yes.
You share something, a part of yourself. And yeah, that's what blogging is all about, sharing conversation, talking about yourself, talking about what interests you.
Fantastic. Okay, I got it. We probably fit more in the mental health and the creative industries. I'm really interested in this area, actually, resilience and well-being. If we could just maybe elaborate a bit more on what's going on there. As an education psychologist, I lead in primary settings. As an ELSA, that's like an emotional literacy support assistant, we teach emotional literacy and growth mindset in like PSHE. And I was wondering how that area of resilience and well-being would chime with emotional literacy. Is that where it would sit?
Yeah, so we've got different aspects of resilience that we'll be exploring, and Dr. Mark Holterhoff is a counselling psychologist. He's been in the field of neuroscience and psychology for a long time, and he's going to be delivering a presentation on what does it mean to go beyond resilience. So we hear a lot about resilience these days, and it's kind of become almost a bit of a buzzword. But it's like, well, what does that actually really mean?
Precisely.
And what does it mean once because with resilience, it's about not only just sort of bouncing back, from times of adversity and challenge, but also, how you adapt from that time and then how you move forward. And it's that moving forward phase of rather than just coping and getting on with things, it's actually how do you thrive. So he's going to be exploring a really, really important presentation around that. And then also within the creative industries, as you mentioned as well, we will be tapping into the resilience that's needed within that industry. There's some really interesting research around that space, whether it's the film industry, music, theatre, etc., and how, some really great speakers on that topic too.
When we were speaking, here's what I'm planning. When we were speaking, I was saying that on the day itself, I know you're going to be, we're doing a preview show. This chat is for a preview show. On the day itself, I was thinking you're going to be so chocker. It seems like such a busy program. We didn't want to burden you any further, but I'm planning now to do a show the day before on the mid-morning show. It's called Monson's Mid-Morning Mayhem. Tony Monson presents that show on this station. He's actually the boss of the station. And during his show, the day before, that would be Thursday the 8th, and the mid-morning show, we'll do a preview and hopefully drive some traffic towards the festival rather than doing something on the day itself. Does that sound like a better idea?
Yeah, that sounds really incredible, and that will definitely help us because a lot of your listeners I visited your website. A lot of your listeners are really interested with mental health and finding ways to promote their well-being. So if they could be aware of the event a day in advance, that would really help them to, kind of prepare of joining the event. So that's really wonderful, and that's really an incredible way to help us, to support us, in reaching more audience with our event.
Fantastic. Can you tell me how it's going to work online, a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it will be all hosted on Zoom, and all the talks will be delivered in different formats to make it, as engaging as possible for our audience. So we've got, interviews, we'll have keynote talks, presentations, workshop, as I mentioned before, and the panel discussion will feature all the people who are on the panel on the screen. So I'll be hosting that panel as well, and this will just be an opportunity for our audience to watch and listen in on all of our speakers and their thoughts on all the key topics we'll be exploring. But throughout the day, there will be an option for Q&A sessions, so people can ask questions as well, where time permits, and connect with what the speakers are saying and following them after as well, of course. It will all be hosted on Zoom, and we're hosting. Dennis and I are co-hosting the whole event.
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are any of the panels run at the same time, or is it just one after the other?
No, it's one after the other. So you can buy a day pass for the event or individual sessions if required as well. But I've got to say, the day passes have been selling so well. It seems like people are so interested in all the topics that we're sharing, which is fantastic.
Well, perhaps with this, maybe this year with the coronavirus being the subject, it has more resonance than ever.
I really do think that might be the case. And, I think we've realised more than ever before, perhaps this year, just how important health and well-being really is. And, whatever we have in our control to support our mental health and well-being, that we can tap into that. And there's so much resource and, many resources online and available nowadays than ever before in terms of looking after your mental health and well-being. So we really hope to, create an empowering experience for so many people.
This is just before World Mental Health Week. It may have more resonance because of that. What do you reckon?
Exactly. We're still in lockdown right now. The coronavirus is still, we can still feel its effect. And that has really impacted the way we relate with people, because no one born like 50 years ago or 20 years ago has experienced a pandemic in their life. So this is really something new. And we can't really deny the fact that it has impacted our mental health, it has impacted our well-being, and we're still adjusting to, working from home. We're still adjusting from the new normal. So it's really essential that we explore ways on how we could better navigate the lockdown, the experience of isolation. And so that's why we decided to have this as an online event, not just because of course, there are restrictions, in organizing physical events. I think that by organizing an online event, we could reach to a global audience. So we're not just really focusing on people in the UK, but we're also trying to reach people in Asia. So they could also we could also learn from each other on how you're actually coping with your workplace culture in relation to the lockdown, or being resilient in relation to your culture. So it's going to be a global and a diverse atmosphere during Good Mental Health Festival.
I tell you, it's going to be massive. I'm convinced.
Remember nights in Brazil, finding orchids so rare, the secret streets winding through the hills, scent of clover in the air, every night a new place, but the same face. Remember stars in Kowloon, white sails filled with dark wind, and endless sunsets in Cameroon, to forget where you've been. Every night a new place, but the same face, always calling you. directions and hear a name, and the past pulls you in. Every night a new place, but the same face, always calling you, always calling you.
Dennis, do you work from home?
Yes, I work from home. So every day I just, publish a range of articles. That's what I do. I'm always at home every day. I'm a blogger.
Were you working from home before the pandemic and lockdown?
Yes, I've been blogging for 3 years, so I've always worked from home for the past 3 years. Before that, I used to work for a PR agency in London. It's quite a very challenging environment, and so that's why I'd rather find, a more subdued atmosphere. And so that's why I really took blogging seriously and just work from home.
So the lockdown didn't really affect you?
No, it didn't really affect me, but it affected me socially because, working from home could be quite emotionally challenging because you're on your own, you're locked in a room all day,
yes.
You've got no one to talk to. But when I get bored before the lockdown, I just, go out and hang out with friends, especially during weekends. And, of course, with the lockdown, I'm restricted to doing that. So it has impacted me just like everyone else.
No one gets out of this. As I said, unscathed counts for over a third of all work-related ill health. And when sustained over long periods, can easily morph into long-term mental illness, such as anxiety. Psychological problems are the largest reason for people losing days off work. So what are the other interesting issues that you like to hear debated?
What, for me personally, or what we'll be talking about at the actual event? So, supporting workplaces with building a culture of wellness and a mentally healthy culture in their workplace, which includes strategy development and, how you treat one another at work, how mental health is a priority at work, and how managers support their staff. So that's an area that I'm very interested in. And I'll be interviewing Bruce Daisley, who's the ex-VP for Twitter Europe. He's also a best-selling author of the podcast, of the book and podcast, Eat, Sleep, Work, Repeat. And so we'll be talking about what creates an authentic workplace culture, essentially a workplace with a soul. So that's one topic that we'll be delving into, from his experience, and he's so passionate about how to make work better as well. So that's one area. But as well as that, and Mark and doing the resilience piece, and we have the mental health and the creative industries panel. We'll also have a keynote talk from Dan Keeley, who's an amazing mental health activist, the founder of Are We OK UK, and a keynote speaker, and he'll be talking on the topic of men's mental health and the power of vulnerability. Sadly, there's still a lot of really concerning statistics around male suicide these days, so Dan's really on a mission to not only get people talking about what really matters most in life, so that they don't feel that there's any issue with opening up about how they feel, but also to support and raise awareness of the issue of men opening up and of male suicide. So he does a lot of work around opening up and sharing and raising awareness of that. And then finally, we have the digital storytelling aspect, which I'm sure Dennis will tell you more about as well. Dennis will be collaborating with Beth Mawayas, who's a specialist in the area of ethical influence. She's a blogger as well, an award-winning writer. So they will be collaborating together to deliver a writing workshop to help people harness their writing as a creative outlet, but also as a career path. And if you're passionate about writing about mental health or well-being, or whatever it is that sparks you, they'll be teaching tools and techniques for how to go about that as well.
Sounds like it's going to be chock-a-block. So here's what I'm thinking. Dennis, what are the issues that you're looking forward to being debated? I know you mentioned digital storytelling already. What other areas are you looking forward to being debated? Just give us a steer so I know what to zone in on, because it seems like a very crowded program.
Sorry. We're really excited to hear from Dr. Mark Holterhoff, who is a lecturer from University of Edinburgh. And Dr. Holterhoff will explore ways on how we can be more resilient and how we can flourish. And I think that is really essential, whether there's a lockdown or whether there's no lockdown, because being resilient and being able to flourish, that is really an essential element of human nature that we could harness in order for us to thrive and be more effective in what we do in life. And another thing that I'm really looking forward to is men's mental health, because when we talk about mental health, it seems that we don't really pay much attention to men's mental health. And I'm not noticing that simply by the fact that I'm a man, but there seems to be like a lack of understanding of what really affects men, and we don't seem to realize that men are more likely to die of suicide than anything else from 20 at the age of 20 to 40. So that's really a crucial statistic that we have to take into account when we're talking about mental health. So those two themes on good mental health, those topics are what I'm really looking forward to.
The Office of National Statistics claim the measures for well-being is the lowest than at any point in history. Among the main reasons for people feeling at their lowest ebb is finance, their ability to pay bills. The ONS 2019 figures reveal male suicide has reached its highest rate in 2 decades. As you say, very. Is there anyone else that is making you smack your lips and say, I'll tell you what excites me? Joshua Robertson, he's immense. Joshua, it says here, worked as a stand-up comedian, motivational speaker. When he was 11 years old, he had a severe motorbike crash without a helmet. Luckily, he survived the collision. However, he spent 4 months in a coma and another 7 months in hospital. He couldn't walk or talk for a couple of years. When Josh left school, he made up for lost time performing stand-up, and so he moved to Britain to further his career. Very interesting. I'd like to find out what Josh has to say.
Yeah, so that's also another something to watch out for, because we advertise it as a stand-up comedy. Well, it's going to be a stand-up comedy, but there's also an element of live experience there. And I think the main message, the main takeaway from Joshua Robertson is that you have to look at the bright side of life, be it in the form of comedy or be it in the form of exploring other hobbies. He has really a powerful story to share, so that's also something to look at.
That's what I wanted to get a handle on. Is it a stand-up routine he'll be doing, or is it a panel discussion, or is he going to be doing a motivational speech?
He'll be doing a stand-up comedy, and along the lines, while doing stand-up comedies, he'll be sharing his powerful story.
According to Powerhouse, I got this from your website, by the way, working in a creative role, you're statistically 3 times more likely to experience a mental health issue. Why is that so?
I think one of the key reasons because why people in the creative industry tend to suffer mental health issues is because they don't really talk about it. And it's really a very challenging industry. You're expected to look nice. You're expected to look... you expect it to sound happy and confident all the time. What we don't tend to realize is that people behind those, facade, they also have a life to live. They also have, financial burden. So I think those factors would contribute to the toll of their mental health. So I'm really excited that we managed to pull together some big names to shed light about the situations within the creative industry in relation to their mental health.
And we're very, very grateful for it. Okay, in the 2 minutes we have left, another person who would be very interesting from our viewpoint as a radio station is J.P. Cooper. He's an Island Records recording artist. He's on Chris Blackwell's label, very famous label, very well-regarded label. He's been described by the label A&R as being like a mixture between Nick Drake and Sam Cooke in one person, they say.
Yes. So J.P. Cooper is a singer-songwriter, and he's one of the top 10. He has achieved 2 top 10 and platinum selling singles with his Perfect Strangers. So we really try to get big names. So, just to show that no matter how successful you are, you could still struggle with mental health issues. And I think that's an important message to understand here. That mental health issues, it's not really selective. Anyone can suffer from it. And so that's the key. That's one of the key takeaways that we want to convey to anyone who would be at the Good Mental Health Festival.
Very, very interesting indeed. So, Dennis, how will we know your objectives have been met?
That's an interesting question, Kid. I suppose it will be a long-running goal for us to help people identify ways in how they could promote their mental health and well-being. But at the end of the day, when when the event has been finished, we just want the audience to feel a sense of, realization that mental health is a serious issue, that it could affect anyone, whether you're a man, whether you're within the creative industry, and that's something that we want them to realize. And along that, we also want them to realize that there are things that they can actually tap into in order for them to promote their well-being. And one of them is finding ways to be resilient. And one of them is, doing something that might be interesting for them, such as blogging. So if we're able to have our audience realize those at the end of the event, then I think it has been a successful event. As host of the event, I believe that we were able to achieve our goal.
I mean, we stay connected, with everyone who wants to stay connected with us after the event, but we want to make this, consistent. So every year we'll be running this as an annual festival, and, we do events in between here and there as well, and we just encourage people to continue connecting with us and sharing their stories. We try to feature as many speakers as possible and a wide variety to get so many different stories out there and, provide platforms for so many experts in different fields. And so the people attending, we just encourage to, please stay connected with us, share your stories, share what's really worked, what's helped empower you after the festival, and, just to see the development there. And obviously we stay connected through our newsletters and social media and all those platforms as well.
Okay. Dennis relojo-howell and Tania Diggory, thank you very much. It's been really worthwhile having you on. Okay.
I really appreciate it, Kid. Thank you.
No, I think it's going to be a fantastic collab. As I say, our podcast has got the same aims as the festival, and Tania did say the tickets are going fast, and I think the timing is perfect for this. I just think it's going to be really, really successful, and it's really nice to be involved, to be honest. Let's try and do a good job.
Thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate your involvement.
Thanks for your time, and thanks for the festival.
Thank you, Kid.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Lawrence.
And of course, we're looking very much forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to having you there too. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. That was absolutely great. Okay, nice chatting. Let's speak soon.
Speak soon. Take care, Kid.
Bye for now.
Bye.